So, first and foremost, what is good, y'all? It's your boy Deluxe. And on this YouTube video, I really wanted to talk about at least kind of a little bit something that I went through with this shiny object syndrome. Because I'm talking to a lot of barbers and having a lot of barbers in my DMs at least, and really at least having some interesting conversations with them. And I find myself like seeing exactly what they're doing right now, or thinking the way of thinking and approaching the industry on how to build your business. And it's exactly kind of what I was going through as well. And it's this thing of wanting to go off in different areas and try new things. And it's kind of like this shiny object syndrome, because cutting hair kind of gets boring after a while, right? Doing the same thing over and over again gets boring after a while. And really that then becomes and puts in an individual's mind, at least like for myself, fuck, I gotta do something else, right? I gotta be able to go off and do something different in the industry to put some excitement back into what I do, because it does get very, very dull. Cutting hair, same price every single day, year in, year out. I did that for about 2 years. And there was nothing fun about that. Coming into work, cutting the same clients every single day, getting paid the same amount of money every single day, and really month to month knowing like, okay, cool, nothing's growing, nothing's decreasing. I'm kind of just staying at the stagnant. And I think at that point in time, I really started questioning, okay, is this all my life's gonna amount to, right? And I don't think anybody wants that. Nobody wants their life just to be staying at that like constant level, because it gets boring as shit. I think as humans, like, we always have to at least find something to strive towards. And when we are just kind of doing things to maintain a certain level, and it's not a level that, I don't even think at any level, like I think you could be making like, I don't know, 10 million a year. And if you're doing the same shit over and over again, it's gonna get boring. Like nobody, I don't think anybody in the right mind wants to just stay at whatever level, because there's no excitement for the future. And that doesn't trigger something in the brain to go out and accomplish a mission. So there's this thing that I went through. It was like this shiny object syndrome. And basically what it is, you know, you get bored of what you do. You get bored of kind of the day-to-day operations because there hasn't been a big change in business, or there hasn't been anything going on with cutting hair, to be quite honest, right? Like I said, doing the same thing over and over again just gets dull. And so at that point in time, I wanted to put in more excitement for myself. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool, I'm doing this thing. Well, I guess I have to go ahead and I guess I have to take up some hobbies. I gotta do some recreational stuff. So I started like coaching a high school baseball team, which was fun, but it still didn't get me to, like, I still didn't feel like the way I wanted to. Like, okay, that might not be, okay, maybe I gotta go back to school then, right? I gotta go back to school because then I'm not happy right now, so I gotta go back and learn how to be running a business, because I think that's what I wanna do. I did that, and still, again, wasn't what I wanted to do. And it soon, like, it was fun at first, but then it kind of lost its excitement. It kind of came back to this, you know, level of like, well, this is not what I really want, the direction I want to go in. And then, you know, when I started making a push in the industry, again, I started, you know, raising my prices, being able to build up my media platforms and start getting a little bit more attention on my business. And again, this thing kind of plagued me, because then I got like, okay, cool, now I want to go off and do, all of a sudden, I want to start a product line. So, because I thought that was going to be the thing that was going to get me to where I wanted to go. Start a product line. Again, did not work out. And then I'm like, okay, cool, influencer, I got to do that. I got to be like this influencer persona. Tried that out. Again, nothing. It still went to like a very dull place. And got very boring, and then it's just like, well, this isn't like the thing that I want to be doing. And I'm like, oh, okay, I got to get an education, and that must be the next thing. Of course, got into education, still wasn't the thing. And what I noticed was the shiny object syndrome, trying to chase after something else, was taking me away, and really hiding the fact that what I was doing currently, which was cutting hair, even at a very higher level, I was still trying to run away from the main thing, instead of like when I just kept, you know, the shit the main thing, and didn't try to go after all these things. Even though I was able to, like, I mean, like, I didn't sleep at all for a good period of my life going through that, because there was just so much chaos going on. And even though I was able to scale up, looking back, like, really I didn't need any of that shit. I should have just kept like the one thing, just cutting hair, and then moved, once I did something incredible with that, into what I'm doing right now. Because that would allow, for one, the smoothest transition, the easiest way to get there at the fastest point as well too, and I would learn a lot more. But because I think us as just people and individuals, we always want to have like this excitement and this like the dopamine spikes and all this like stuff happening and like this like whatever we think it is, right? But that chasing after that actually takes us away from the main thing of getting to the successful point. And that's what the shit of this shiny object syndrome. And I'm seeing a lot of barbers and talking to a lot of barbers who are kind of going through the same thing. But at very, very lower levels. Like when I was charging 40, 50 bucks, 60 bucks, that's when I was like, okay, I'm gonna start a YouTube channel. Everybody needs to know how to cut hair. But now I see a lot of barbers who want to go ahead and do that while they're charging like 20, 30 bucks. And if even myself at that level was like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. I should have just kept on. Like it took me so much time, because when I started taking on YouTube, and you know, of course, it's on YouTube right now. But of course, like when I started on YouTube, it took my energy and attention away from the main thing, which actually slowed me down overall. And I think a lot of barbers do that because they want to get paid by YouTube. And to be quite honest, it's cool. Like it's nothing that's incredible, but you know, I think getting paid from somebody else's platform, should not be the goal. I think the goal should be able to build something incredible yourself, and be able to build something that you own, and like kind of like an ownership mentality, not just be a worker. And I think a lot of barbers, of course, we come from this labor mindset first and foremost of just cutting hair for money, but it's almost like becomes like this game of like a dog chasing its tail. Like, okay, what are you gonna do once you catch it? Like, and then you're just gonna get bored and be like, okay, I'm just gonna go on to something else. And I experienced myself going through those same problems. And I think a lot of barbers, like when they're charging a low amount, they'll be like, oh, it's time, I gotta start a YouTube channel. Like Deluxe, what do you think? I gotta start a YouTube channel. I want to start getting paid. It's like, well, okay, well, why? Right? And it's incredible when you start asking the questions of why, what you actually reveal. And most of the times, even for myself, looking back on it, when I ask those questions of self, of like, okay, why do I want to start a YouTube channel? Why do I want to start a product line? Why do I want to build like an online course? It's because, like, you know, cutting hair at the time, you know, I didn't get it to the level, like when I was charging 150, 200 bucks, I didn't really care about that shit. I was like, okay, well, I'm already doing it, so I might as well. But at the time when I first wanted to get into it, was because, well, barbering, like I wasn't great. I wasn't, you know, making the money that I wanted to make. And I don't think a lot of barbers at that level do make the money that they ultimately want to make, because otherwise, if they were, or they kept on like thinking on the next level, getting to the next level of themselves, they wouldn't even mess with going after other things. They would just stick with the main thing. And I'm not saying don't ever do any of those things. I think do those things after, like from my experience, do that. Like I should have just done that after I had accomplished something. And after I accomplished like getting up to a certain level, because then I have the freedom to go ahead and do whatever I need to do. Then I don't have to go ahead and start trying to create content or whatever to just make money, because then it becomes a very, very shitty game, a very shitty game. And you don't want to fall in line with that at all either. And like I said, it affected me, like for myself, creating this YouTube channel. This shit has brought me like in terms of like more stress than I think anything else. In terms of like, I mean, you guys have seen I've gone like for spurts of like being on YouTube for a while and then going off YouTube for a while. And I actually went off YouTube for like a year because I noticed this shit. I'm like, okay, why am I continuing to do this YouTube channel when this is not my main business? My main business is, at the time when I was transitioning into then running, building a company, it's like, well, I'm trying to, you know, build this educational company. Why the fuck am I trying to go ahead and build a YouTube channel? And it should have been the same mentality from when cutting hair as well too. Why am I trying to start a YouTube channel when my main thing is cutting hair, not, you know, creating YouTube? Because then I'm just like, you're just gonna start splitting yourself right down the middle of like energy wise, and it becomes a very, very tiresome, mentally draining game. That honestly, like, if you're gonna do YouTube, just do YouTube. Like, don't even fucking worry about cutting hair, and good luck with that too. But you know, cut hair and really focus on building business, because at the end of the day, once you get up to a certain level where you don't have to be in the shop 10 to 12 hours out of the day, you can only be in there 5 hours out of the day, make 5, 6, 7, 800 bucks, and then dip out, and then you can go and work on your YouTube channel, right? For me, it was like, yo, I'm working like 12-hour days still, and then trying to come back and do YouTube. And it was just this like it was just like this struggle of like, what the fuck am I doing right now? Take YouTube out of the equation, keep the main thing, build this up to where now I have freedom of time so that I can put that extra time into if I want to build this thing, which at that, then it became, well, I don't want to do YouTube. I'm building a company. And I was like, okay, cool, easy, go over there. And really what for me, like, I think a lot of barbers don't ask the questions of, well, why do I want to do this? You know, they just say, they know why they're doing it because they're not making enough money. They know why they want to do it because they don't want to be cutting hair forever. But the, you know, I think a lot of barbers, especially when I get on calls with them to try and get into elevated mentorship, a lot of what I hear is they don't trust what they're doing in the barber industry. They don't trust, they don't know how to get up to the next level with their business, to be quite honest. And that's why they're like, well, I don't know what to do, so I'm just going to do something else. Which is like the most backwards way of thinking about it, but it makes sense. Like from a barber standpoint, well, if I don't know how to do this, and I don't want to put my time, energy, and resources into doing this thing that I don't know how to do, I'm just going to go do something else. And when you go and do something else, when you're still working 12 to 14 hours a day, if not more, nothing's really going to work. Nothing's going to move forward, or you're just going to end up killing yourself at the end of the day because it's just tiring. It's not going to work. And you're not going to put out the best effort for it. And it's actually going to take you a lot longer process to get this shit moving. So for myself, what did I do to solve this problem, right? Instead of like trying to go out, finding different things that would affect my business. For me, it was very simple. Keep the main thing the main thing. When I started noticing myself going off or having like, ooh, I should start this. Ooh, I should have, oh, this is a great opportunity to go ahead and go with this. Ooh, I need to do this. Okay, I asked, why do I need to do that? Why do I feel like I want to do that? And it was like, well, because I want to feel like I'm doing something, or like, you know, I want to feel more proud of what I'm doing. And it's like, well, why? It's like, well, because barbering doesn't make me feel proud of what I'm doing. Cutting hair doesn't make me feel like I'm affecting people's lives like how I should, or what I'm proud of what I'm doing. And when I started getting into those answers of the questions of why, it was like, okay. So then why am I going chasing something else to get this goal instead of figuring out a way to make the thing I'm doing right now, which is cutting hair, affect this issue? Because I'm actually running away from the main issue and trying to supplement it with outside forces instead of like, okay, this is the issue of what I'm doing. How do I address it, right? Instead, barbers like, oh, this hurts. I don't want to do this. Let me go out somewhere else. No, just, you're right here. You know the problem. You can dissect it. Get very brutally honest with yourself and be like, okay, cool. Do I know how to fix this issue? Yes or no? Right? If yes, great, do it. If no, figure out how. Don't just go off to the next thing, because guess what? Once you go off to the next thing, you still have this problem right here, and you're going to come up against the same problem right here. You're going to hit a plateau. You're going to hit a place where it's like, oh, I don't know what to do next. And then this runs its course. And then literally this new shiny object becomes as dull and boring as the old one. And then you have two things that you're like, oh, I'm spending all my time. Oh, this is so boring. And then it's like, ooh, product line. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and chase this now. And then it just like keeps on going on and on. It's this recurring cycle of like, ooh, it feels good, it feels good, it feels good. It's like a new relationship. Ooh, this feels amazing. And then after a while, you fucking hate their guts, right? And it's just like, okay, cool. Why am I going through this process, and why would I continue going through that if I just kept this and solved this core issue first in this one business? You know, and for myself too, I just cut out all the bullshit, right? I stopped really trying to build, because I was doing a product line, YouTube channel, Instagram, just a bunch of other different things, trying to be like this influencer character. And it was just like, it just took me away from like the main thing of what I should have been doing. And it was very, very chaotic too. It was just like, I was getting pulled in different directions. I didn't really have any free time. It wasn't the most enjoyable thing to do. But when you just keep it very simple, like literally, like for myself, a core principle I live by, is simplicity, simplistic life. I don't try to do a bunch of other things. I wake up, I do my morning routine, I go to the gym, I come back and work on building a company for about 10 to 12 hours, and then I go to sleep. Wake up, do it again. Whereas other people, they see that, and if I wasn't getting the growth in what I'm doing, then yeah, I would feel dull and like, oh, I gotta do something else. But if you know what to do in this thing to make it grow, you fix all the issues, you fix all the problems. And I think that's what needs to happen for barbers at least. And again, you have to start asking the questions of why. Why do I want to go off and do something else? Why am I taking myself away from the main thing? Why do I feel like I am not doing something important right now? And you'll actually, when you start doing those and asking those questions, you'll start realizing some very, very interesting points. And it's not like, oh, I shouldn't be cutting hair. It's like, no, well, I'm just not confident of my position to go ahead and build my business. I don't know how to. And then it's like, ding, 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 just figure out how to, and then you'll solve the whole entire problem. And I think a lot of times, as much as the internet has allowed us to have access to a lot of information and things, it's also reinforced this, behavior, right? Like social media, you're always pulling on that damn lever of trying to see something new. You get bored, see something new. You get bored, see something new. But with anything of building something truly great, you just do this, you figure out how to make the thing grow, and it's just over and over and over, the same thing over and over again. And just fucking militant discipline on that one thing of over and over and over. And it becomes fun at that point in time. It's not it sounds very boring, but it's boring if you don't like to go ahead and get, progress. If you like getting progress and you like seeing things and building things, it's like, this is fucking fun as hell, right? Not building something and not creating progress is not fun as hell. So, for those that are watching this, you're probably like, cool, how can I solve this? This is how I solve it. How can I solve this? Or at least become more aware of this in my business. Or if I'm feeling this way, right? Like a lot of barbers feel this way, I gotta start a YouTube channel. People gotta know how to cut hair. Trust me, there's too many YouTube channels. There's too many pomades. There's too many straight razors out there. People don't need your shit. You need to go ahead and build your business up first. And then once you do something amazing, then go ahead and start branching out into other areas, because you'll actually have a different worldview of what needs to occur and the system process of business. You actually get to start seeing from a very different point of view at that point in time. First and foremost, always ask what your core goal is, right? And I think when we get down to a lot of core goals, I think a lot of barbers, we got in the barber industry to be our own boss and create financial freedom. I think that's always whenever I get into conversation, it always goes back to those points. Well, I want to be financially free. I actually want to create something for myself. Then, always ask why you're doing the thing you are right now, right? If you're going off and trying to learn a product, okay, cool. You want to create financial freedom. Well, why are you going off and doing something else instead of putting all that energy into building up your barbering business? Because then you're just going to be like, well, I don't know how to. Cool. Then you know what you have to go and solve. You don't need to go ahead and go and start a product, because starting a product or anything else is a whole different area of problems that come with that. Whereas you're already in this one thing, just fuck that shit. Keep this thing right here and keep going with it, right? It's really that simple, and it's really it's the best bang for your buck in terms of time efficiency, because then you're not wasting time here and maybe doing something else and splitting your times up into thirds instead of just 100% time on this one thing. And you don't worry about shit else. You don't worry about anything else except this one thing. You wake up, you breathe it, you shit it, you eat it. Everything is this one thing, and you know how to make it go forward. That's the beauty of it. Really, you just have to ask 5 whys. Okay, cool. Well, why do I want to go off? Okay, I want to go off into creating a product. Why? Well, because I want to build something really, really big. I think I could create a new product. Why? Well, because I think there's a great opportunity to go ahead and make a lot of money in that. Why? Well, because I'm not making the money I am right now in barbering, so I want to go ahead and create other opportunities for myself. Why? Because I don't know how to build my business. Why? Right? So you go ask those 5 whys, and you get down to the core roots of the problems, and you'll figure out the main issue isn't that you need to go off and do something else. The main issue is you need to figure out what the fuck is going on with your business right now. Next is really for myself, there's always times, even right now, when I feel myself getting away from the main thing, or when I feel myself wanting to lay in bed, wanting to go ahead and scroll on Instagram, want to go ahead and that's why I unfollowed everybody, because I didn't want to have those things affecting me. But still, those things still draw me away. It's a very unrelenting type of ordeal. But when I catch myself doing those things, I kind of take a third person point of view and assess myself. I'm like, okay, cool. Is this helping me achieve the main thing of what I want to go ahead and achieve? More times than not, to know. It's cool, go back. My brain literally tells my body, get up, put it down, go back. And my body listens. My body goes, Yes, sir, let's go. And I go back and continue doing work. And I think a lot of people are kind of just getting pulled on these strings of what their body's wants and desires are, of what makes them feel good, instead of what they ultimately want to accomplish, which never works out in anybody's favor. Because if you want to feel good, there's a lot of things that make you feel good but are terrible fucking for you. So always go after the main thing of like what you actually want to accomplish. And last but not least, like, you have to reprogram yourself, I think was my biggest benefit. I literally had to reprogram self in the way I approach things and approached the way I work and attack things, instead of seeing very fast, quick results and then just seeing very small incremental building blocks over time. Like if I just put all my energy into one thing each and every single day, over time I'm gonna get exponential growth. Instead of like, one day I go all in and then I wake up the next day, ooh, let me see the results. Can I raise prices? Nope. Oh, fuck it, I don't wanna do that shit. Right? This is just like, fuck that, I'm gonna start a product line. It's like, well, no, you first of all, you have to have the right system. Second of all, you have to go ahead and put the time and work at a very high level day in and day out. And third, you can't get distracted. And you're already getting distracted. You're already not putting high level work day in and day out. And no wonder why you never get fucking results, right? For me, and when I started realizing, I'm like, no wonder why I'm not fucking getting results. I want to do every single thing and want to get like the instant gratification. And reprogramming self to like really love the work, really love even like not hard work that like what's it called? That doesn't get me or make the boat go faster, gets me the results. But first of all, knowing what I must do, construct a system that allows me to get results, and then just fall in love with that process over and over again. And what most people do is they actually still like the result of like that grind mentality of over and over again, but they're doing all the fucking wrong actions and really just in this hamster wheel instead of like this forever growing exponential growth of upwards trajectory. And that's why I call it the hamster wheel, because technically you are programmed for hard work, but the hard work doesn't get you to where you want to go. Right? You're not moving forward at all. Whereas, elevated mentorship students, they get to where they want to go, and quick and efficiently too. So really short video. Just want to go ahead and kind of at least go over things that I've at least seen this week, and conversations I've had with other barbers, and really eye-opening of like, oh wow, okay, it's interesting. This is kind of going on. So yeah. Kind of like the whole entire video. So if you guys felt like this was interesting or of value, or hell, if you even made it to the end of this video, I know a lot of barbers and a lot of people don't make it to the end of these videos. Like a lot of people, like, again, like 20 minutes, 22 minutes, he's just talking. Fuck that, I just want to go to something else. You want to start programming yourself to like, okay, cool, this is valuable information. Stay here, like have discipline, watch it. Fuck it, drop it in the comments. I made it to the very end. I love it when people say I watched the whole thing. I'm like, good job. And then also too, if like for us, this is what we're doing in Elevated Mentorship. We're really switching up not only like the way of operating and way of thinking and attacking business in the barber industry, but also giving them the correct inputs to get the outputs they want. So you don't have to waste time of like this trial and error of years and years of trial and error just to finally get like a little bit of progress. Like we tell you exactly what you need to do, implement the systems, and you start seeing results. So if you don't want to waste fucking time, of course, you can always set up a call with me, see if you're a correct fit to be an elevated mentorship in the program. We curate this group very, very highly. We don't want people who just are lazy as shit, of course. I'll leave that link down below in the description. But yeah, would love to go ahead and see what your thoughts, at least on this video, in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe, and make sure you stay up on top for all weekly videos. And with that, I'll see you in the next video, y'all.